Afghanistan, a forgotten land, a great yet hidden history, a wounded people, yet forever resilient. I draw your attention so we may speak for a while about this land. There are nearly 200 countries, but why Afghanistan? Is it because it starts with little a? Of course not. There's a lot to talk about. But do we really have to talk about Afghanistan? Let's find out. The first question, how much do you know about Afghanistan?
It's a country in Central Asia, Muslim country.
I don't know too much about Afghanistan, like too much in depth.
Yeah, similarly, I know that Afghanistan is currently governed by the Taliban.
I don't know too much. I've read a few books like A Thousand Splendid Suns and Kite Runner.
Sadly, I barely know anything.
There are neighbours with Iran and they're in the Middle East.
Not a lot, to be honest.
I don't know that much.
What comes to mind when you hear Afghanistan?
Like the war.
I think of like a beautiful country and culture that sadly was taken over by a regime.
I think of my friend because she's from Afghanistan.
I think of a very significant country in terms of history.
Mountains. The Mauryan Empire.
Just the capital city.
Taliban. I would say strong women.
Question, what historical events do you associate most with Afghanistan?
The war against Russia.
The Taliban overthrowing the government.
Probably maybe the Soviet war that happened.
The Taliban taking over, I'd say probably.
I'd probably say 9/11.
But Pakistan and Afghanistan being in a war.
The Taliban taking over, retaining power in 2021.
I'd say 9/11.
Wars.
Do you think Afghanistan is more defined by war or culture?
Mostly by culture.
War, unfortunately.
War. Yeah, I'd say war as well.
I'd say war.
I would definitely say war right now.
As much as I'd like to say culture, I'm gonna have to say war.
It's more defined by war.
Definitely in Western media defined by war.
It seems we must. Afghanistan is not just a country on a map. It was a crossroad of civilization, the birthplace of science and art, and the cradle of poetry and philosophy. Wow, I made a lot of claims. In English we say, prove it. But in Persian we say, سخنچون بگفتی دلیلش بیاور. Once you speak, bring the evidence. Let's jump into the evidence. My first claim, Afghanistan, the crossroad of civilization. For over 4,000 years, this land has stood at the center of empires, cultures, and trade routes. Aryan civilization, 2000 BCs. Achaemenid Empire, 550 BCs. Macedonian Empire, 330 BC. Seleucid Empire, 312 BC. Greco-Bactrian Kingdom, 250 BC. Kushan Empire, Sasanian Empire, Ghaznavid Empire, Ghurid Empire, Timurid Empire, Safavid Empire, and more. My second claim, birthplace of science and art. Algebra, algorithm, and modern computing. From the region of Greater Khorasan, a man named Al-Khwarizmi transformed human knowledge. He founded algebra and introduced systematic methods of calculation. His step-by-step problem-solving methods give us the word and the concept algorithm, the foundation of modern computing. Next time you use technology, remember, it begins here. My third claim, the cradle of poetry and philosophy. How come the world afford to overlook the figures such as Rumi, Avicenna, Rudaki, Jami, Ghazali, Farabi, Tusi, Razi, and Omar Khayyam? These minds shaped philosophy, poetry, medicine, ethics globally. As a matter of fact, the book of the Canon by Ibn Sina was one of the most famous and influential books of the history widely used in European universities, arguably the standard medical reference for centuries. But the question is, how can we talk about Afghanistan but crossing the borders? For instance, I mentioned Rudaki. Rudaki was born in Bukhara, today's Uzbekistan. The answer is simple. Afghanistan is a colonial term used for the first time by the British, a colonialist power in 18th and 19th century. And as a fact, most of the kings of Afghanistan, they never called themselves the King of Afghanistan because they knew that this term does not describe them well. They usually call themselves the King of Kabul, the King of Khorasan, and names like that. But what we are talking about is the actual region of Khorasan with natural borders, where Afghanistan was the beating heart of it. Let's jump into the cultural point. In Afghanistan, hospitality is not just a costume. It's deeply rooted cultural value. There's a strong belief that if someone comes into your house seeking refuge or protection, it becomes your moral duty to welcome them, offer them shelter, and care for them. While they are under your roof, their safety and well-being become your responsibility, and you must treat them with respect and honor. You will rarely find the home in Afghanistan without the guest room. This room is often the cleanest and the most beautifully prepared part of the house, sometimes even better than the rest of the house. Families keep special dishes and cutlery just for their guests. What makes this tradition even more remarkable is that although many people in Afghanistan live below the poverty line, but still when a guest arrives, they offer the best food they can prepare, sometimes meals they themselves haven't eaten for months. In Afghanistan's culture, honoring a guest is a matter of dignity, generosity, and pride. Poetry nights. In Afghanistan, poetry is an inseparable part of their life. People sometimes get together and start reciting poetry, sometimes from memory, sometimes from book. It's not just about poetry itself, but connection, culture, and expressing feelings in a way that feels natural. Do you know how it feels to be a part of those gatherings? Let me recite you my favorite poem of the greatest poet, Rumi. آمده ام که سر نهم عشق تو را به سر برم گر تو بگوییم که نی نی شکنم شکر برم آمده ام که ره زنم بر سر گنج شه زنم آمده ام که زر برم زر نبرم خبر برم گر شکند دل مرا جان بدهم به دل شکن ورز سرم کله برد من ز میان کمر برم اوست نشسته در نظر من به کجا نظر کنم اوست گرفته شهر دل من به کجا سفر کنم در هوس خیال او همچو خیال گشتم و سر رشک نام او نام رخ قمر برم این غزلم جواب آن باده که داشت پیش من گفت بخور نمیخوری پیش کسی دگر برم. Let's unlock some fun facts about Afghanistan or the Greater Khorasan. Some people might hate me for this, but this is a fact, and facts don't care about our feeling. Number one, Afghanistan is a colonial term used for the first time in 19th century by the British Empire. Balkh, the modern-day Afghanistan, is a birthplace of the new Persian language. This region played a major role during the golden age of Islam. Afghanistan is a diverse country with 14 different ethnic groups. Afghanistan is hosting the world's oldest oil painting. Alexander the Great faced his hardest resistance in this region. Afghanistan has had 26 different flags since the early 20th century. Afghanistan was invaded by three superpowers: the Soviet Union, the British Empire, and USA, but still breathing. The man right here, Ahmad Shah Massoud, a military commander known as the Lion of Panjshir, is considered by some historians the indirect contributor to the fall of Berlin Wall, as he defeated the Soviet Union in Afghanistan. The Herat city of Afghanistan was known as the cultural heart of Asia. Afghanistan was once a place that gave the world poetry, philosophy, and knowledge. But years of imperial and colonial indifference brought war and suffering, changing the life of millions. Still, behind all the destruction, its culture and spirit remain, reminding us of what it was once and what it can be again.
ترجمه کنم بار دگر شنگه